Hi. This week is all right already or all right already. So it was a fabulous week. And what really got seen very clearly as the theme is this process of looping. The cards are completeness, trust, and the complementary card was treasure. And that theme of completeness was very potent and very important because all right already is getting the completeness, because in getting the completeness, the presence of being and moving forward with the treasure of what life is literally shows up. So the first being that I saw, it very clearly from the very outset was so clear about the completion, like so complete. To not get that it's complete, what do you do with your life? And there was this feeling of, I've got to go. I think there's still more. I think there must be more that I need to clear, that I need to get in touch with, that I maybe need to pay attention to. And when it's complete, there is something that is so done that to be in the loop of that is to be dead while you're alive. So it showed this looping, and the looping was continuing, and it was looking to see if there was more that had to be completed. Now, I've seen many people in my work over time, and I've never come across a mother that is more so completely in mother mode, and the dedication and the fully living into the care of her children who've now left home and are getting on with their lives. It still was in this sense of accountability, which, goes to everything she touches in life. And what this said is, there is nothing more to pull in. This sense of accountability is so complete. You actually came with it in your nature. And of course, you applied yourself that way over and over and over again. But you need to feel a sense of completion in that way of being in life, because that simply is how you are in life. And in doing that, the focus was on the other, the outside, the other. This is the other, the accountability and being so there for the other in care and concern and in completeness, which also went to her work. There's something missing here. And yes, she came with this accountability and completeness. The missing element here is that when we come into the world, we're conceived, we truly feel we are the world. We are all of it. And then that pattern of accountability focused on others, which was such a strong, the self disappeared. And at some level with this accountability, there arrives this sense of something's missing. But the missing isn't to do more of that looping. Something is missing, and that focus of that something is missing and waiting for something to be complete, we end up waiting, and also weighting, waiting. So what showed up here was to actually finally focus on this wellness. It's like, all right, already, time for wellness, for myself, for attending to my own wellness. Given that accountability was there, once it knows what to do, it will apply that, but this time to her wellness, to the focus of what is well for her, which followed on with a similar pattern. This time it had such a deep, profound element to it that you can actually lose yourself in it and not find anything, because one can get so lost in the profoundness that you lose what it's actually, the gift, the treasure of it is. And this energy was, it's difficult when that pattern is there to make a decision, to be decisive. But what was brilliant is that it had pulled together an activity where this being could lose herself and be so in present time. You know, when we lose ourselves, when we disappear, we live the best moments of our life. It's like all disappears and the focus becomes the treasure, and the best comes forward that way. So there was an activity that had a connection, but it was clear that it wasn't the whole of her life. And what it went to was this ephemeral aspect that was in the background. And in exploring what that was, it actually ended up being misinterpreted on this side, because these are dimensional aspects. There's that dimension on the other side, and there's the dimension here, and where we can bring it to this moment here, that's when the treasure arrives. This ephemeral aspect was saying over and over and over again, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, it's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing. On this side, it printed out into a deep gloom depression of it's nothing. When we can see something as nothing that somebody else is experiencing, the most annoying thing is to say it's nothing, while it's nothing. So to unravel the misinterpretation of what this energy was desiring to bring through is that precious, precious, precious aspect of nothing. And it revealed a way of being in this world where if you're in a situation, be it a partner, be it a husband, a wife, a friend, an interaction anywhere with individuals, beings, are we able to address when something doesn't feel like it's nothing, it's like we need to sit down. I can feel this something, and while this something is here, it disturbs that nothing. Can we sit down and speak clearly and work out what we can both feel this nothing in? And the closer they live with you, the more important it is to do this. Because the further away, the more it is easier to make it nothing. But if you feel it interferes in that relationship, it needs to be discussed. Or you need to say what it is for you that then the other person being needs to make nothing. But it is so important. The most blissful days are when you spend it with people who have an element of nothing. And to be together and not speak and just feel the completeness of that moment. They are the heavenly times. When we're around somebody who can't make anything nothing, and it goes on and on and on, and it loops and loops and loops, like there's something missing, and there is nothing missing. There is just, how do we get to that space where we resolve to the nothing so we can move on with the treasure? Then there was someone who came who actually was in a state of, how long is it going to take before I go? Like, what time is left? And look, how can that just please pass? It's like, how can I get to the nothing? And it was a very specific, again, like the one before, it's nothing, and wanting to really have this being understand the preciousness of its nothing, so you can bring out everything that you are as that place is found. In this case, it was more complex, because the complexity here was that her physical presence in this world was attached to a lineage and a genetic aspect, that her physically being here was the completion. That was what her being here was all about. And that aspect was a profound connection to the Shinto religion, which is such a profound, Shinto is so profound in its complete understanding of nature and the discipline of completing things. Like you may clean your bathroom, but the aspect of cleaning it according to this energy, it's so deeply done, which is very much of the Japanese nature. I mean, their toilets, their bidets, their aspect of that divine nothingness that is put into practice is an amazing way to live. And then to not see it reflected outside of you can become something very difficult and tiring, and what am I even doing here? But that connection was not made a connection to, because the parents and the grandparents did not really, it had already weakened, that connection had already started to weaken. And one of the parents had taken it to almost a dictatorship, which is not what it's about. And her being in this world and her offspring that have a connection to this, what is what this precious life is about. And to reconnect to that aspect of her life and the living of it in that purity that she truly does live and has a connection to, and to connect to that and not the outside world as much as that inner connection that she brought into this world, and to not only live it but pass it on. And the connection to wanting to be here was restored. Sometimes it can be that deeply unknown, which is really difficult. So to further from that, again, someone came where this looping had appeared. This looping had appeared. And it was always this pattern, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, being this capacity to be the mediator, to be the diplomat, to not go to self, but to go to that which is on the outside. But we can loop and loop and loop and loop, and all right already. When can I have my life? And what happens when we do that? We always feel like, when's my life going to take place? When are things going to fall in place for me? Well, they're not going to fall in place if you keep doing this. That can be an aspect that you have a gift of, but it doesn't mean it's your life. And especially when you've done that over and over again so many lifetimes that you're not even getting paid for it now. It's just a default program that stops you from really being present and getting in touch with what is my dialogue, so that I can be clear about me rather than always adapting to what I can see others are. And to bring that into focus, and then you can see the amazing things that you already have in your life, rather than always feeling that something is missing. What was missing was the aspect of self that, in dialogue with others, makes others nothing and stays clearly on their own page with what is the nothing for them, that they truly want to live their life through. The other one that follows on from this, which is the completion here, is a being who the pattern here showed up. Yes, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime aspect, which are probably many moments of now, for all we know. But what was happening, many things have showed up over the last years that, like, others have noticed and said, how do you keep doing this? And how do things just always end up falling in place and come into your life? And I myself look at it and go, it's a magic wheel. It's just this a magic wheel around her. But what was happening was, and we have to be careful when we do this, because I know we do this. We look over our shoulders into the past, and then we project it into the future with all the things that may be taken away, that are never going to happen, and all the promises not kept, and all the lies, and and when is this going to end? When is that magic person going to arrive where I then feel it's all here? But you can't look into the past, especially when childhood was incredibly difficult and brutal. And then to look in that and to project that brutal into the future, going, when will my anxiety about that brutal go? Well, when you stop looking over your shoulder. When not looking over that shoulder and actually looking at the immensity of beings in her life who love spending time with her, who are there with her, who choose to be there with her and to assist her and to find ways for her. I mean, the richness in her life is extraordinary. But the moment she looks over her shoulder, that anxiety and the impossibility of addressing it arrives, and what is truly there and in front to live into just becomes a seed from that. And being able to go, all right already, I'm not going to look over the shoulder. I'm going to look at, I have amazing relationships, in stark contrast to her early years. So, all right, already, you know, to realize we're here and there is so much that is complete in our lives. And if we're in the center of it, we move forward with that. We are so living extraordinary lives. So the card of completeness, a journey completed. It's so hard to see what is complete, and we can be trapped in looping it. I know in sessions in the past, the beings who come here, who have come with a completed gift, and they circle around that gift for others instead of realizing I'm completed with that gift. It's their job to bring that about in their lives. I can't give it to them. I can't do it for them. But I recognize there is a completeness, and that others, we all learn from each other. We all have stuff that is completed and stuff that isn't completed. And in that, we can really gather treasures from each other. But to not see that what you are complete with is a torture. A journey completed, a goal achieved, an era ended. Acknowledge your wholeness. You are at an end of a significant era in your life. Acknowledge your hard work and feel good about energies expended. This now opens new doors, new horizons are just around the corner. You take with you all that you are and you move forward into what you are becoming, revealing, seeing as you move forward. Trust. No fear. Trust yourself. That point of nothing. Knowing your intuition, your wholeness. Move with certainty, be sure of yourself. And sometimes we can only be sure when we know it's nothing. When it's nothing, there's nothing hindering. Or if there is, I know I can make that nothing. That is a nothing. That is a surety for me that I can deal with. Now may be decision time. It is only fear that could hold you back now, when you know that there is no such thing as a wrong decision. You will trust yourself joyfully. We've all made decisions that at a time was nothing, but over time it didn't stay in that nothing. That doesn't mean you made a wrong decision. And even if you thought it was nothing, but it wasn't nothing, at some point it'll be revealed and you move from there. It's just revealing continuously and seeing ourselves clearly. It is time to trust in the process of growth. Let go, allow and flow. You might just enjoy it. And the card that seemed to go with it, and it's like the cherry on the cake, I suppose, is treasure. It says this is the treasure card. Your life has purpose and meaning that you can value and treasure. It is time to acknowledge your dreams, listen to your heart, and discover what you really want. Be prepared to do what it takes to follow your heart, and you will find your treasure. And sometimes that treasure is nothing.